Good evening.
Good evening, good evening.
And how are you all this evening?
Just fine.
Good evening,
Just
Miss Straw.
fine.
Good afternoon, sweetheart.
That's why,
Rachel, welcome back.
that's why I stayed so long to get in. It's VIP.
Eh?
That's why they stay so long before they let me in. It's VIP.
Yeah. Yes. Catherine, good night, sweetheart.
Hi, good evening, love. How you doing?
I'm okay. You can catch me there.
Aisha,
Good afternoon, Miss Catherine.
how is life? How is life?
So
Life
I
is
How is,
know that we were out for 2 weeks,
how is
and within that period, did you get the opportunity to practice?
having an intention, holding an intention, and recognizing that it really is about that. This is what you want. This is what you want. And learning to learning to not be amazed when it happens.
Okay.
Because to me, the being amazed part is the part that say, wasn't so sure that's going to happen in the first place. So learning to say, okay, right, it happened, so nice. Let's go and do something else. But it was learning to work in the space of what do you want. Even when I was tempted to go quarreling over certain things, I had to pull back and say, but what do you want? Because it's you. It's you
Mm-hmm.
experiencing it. So what do you want? And then I found that on two occasions, the answer came. What to do came, or the solution came, or the thing I wanted happened. So that was yeah, that was me there.
Okay. Anyone
I
else?
think for me, it really hit like zoning in how much I look for validation from others, especially
Mm-hmm.
at my workplace.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know who I am and I feel like, they should know who I am, and you do your work and it's like, you want them to recognize that you're doing your work, you know what I mean? And that plays hand in hand with um wait, I lose my train of thought. It plays hand in hand with my expectation. Because I think a certain way, I expect other people to see it the way that I see it.
Mm-hmm.
And if for some reason, it leads to you starting to think and put these thoughts in your head, and your perspective and my this would be my way, and I think that they should have been doing this, or they should have done this, and it just kind of get out of control. So I have to learn to accept other people's way of thinking, even though it may not be the way that I think. And a lot of times, when you think like that, you're like, you could see how practical your way might be, and the way they think about it is not as practical as if they had done it your way.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big thing with me, like just understanding and accepting when people don't see things the way that I think that they should see it, or the way I see it.
Okay. Anastasia, are you there?
Yes, I am.
During the 2 week period, what did you get the opportunity to practice?
That is a question.
Huh?
I said that is a question. I was not mindful about what I was practicing during the 2 week period.
Okay. Anything showed up where you had to overcome any difficulty or any challenge?
Yes, I had difficulties to overcome.
Okay. And you were able to manage them.
Yes, I was.
All right. Okay.
I think the genius goal question for the last 2 weeks play right into you having to sit and really identify, what it is that you need to really work on with yourself. It was very personal. I mean, it's always personal, but last week it was a little bit more challenging than usual in terms of understanding you and where you are and what make you who you are and what helps you to be more aligned and like they say, be a more alive, and what kind of hinders you from being your best self.
Okay. Well, that is really the purpose of the Genius Goals Challenge. It's really the opportunity for you to practice what is being discussed. And it's not just limited to a Monday, it's throughout the week because Monday is just the start. But throughout the week is where the details really come forward. So, yes, you might be logging in and you might be learning different things and you're exposed to different things, but then when life presents the opportunity for you to practice, you also have to take that opportunity to really practice what you have been exposed to. And then remember that's the purpose for life sending it to see if you would put it into practice. But then if you're not putting it into practice and you just keep falling into the same patterns, then you would recognize that wait, I getting the same results. So sometimes you really have to pause and think and not react as you're used to reacting, you know? And that is where you would really find that, okay, you're starting to see some differences. But if you're not putting it into practice, then you really wouldn't be able to.
Yeah, but like the first question, who am I when no one is watching?
Mm-hmm.
That was very, very, it was, to me, it was one of the deepest questions and the most challenging, because you really had to sit back and be like, you know you're confident, but are you always confident? You know this about you, but I think it was challenging for me to really pinpoint who I am when no one is watching, because that's when you're your true self.
Yes. And
You're
that
not
is
you're
what?
not putting on any. You're not pretending. You're not showing your strength. You're showing your vulnerability. So that was a very, very, very deep question.
Mm-hmm. And that is why it's structured like it is because you're recognizing that, okay, things are just becoming a little bit more precise. So we're no longer in, standard one for the US. I don't know what you'll call it. So things are becoming a little bit more precise. Yes, indeed. Ebony, are you there? All right.
Yes, I'm here.
What did you get the opportunity to practice in recent days?
I think I was able to practice. It is not I, it's we.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not my problem. It's, well, it's not my problem at all. And it's not my problem to face alone. There's the whole universe, and spiritual guides that are here that also want the same thing that I want. So it is us facing the problem together, and and gratitude in action. It's one thing to be like, yes, I'm grateful for these things, but when you're in a moment where you feel like um, it feels like you're being tested and things still aren't going exactly as you wanted, but you still have to be grateful for what you have in that moment and be
Mhm.
present. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. Would anyone else like to share what they got the opportunity to practice, or not at this time? All right. So, as we delve into tonight's topic, which is shifting to an abundant mindset. And again, what does the word abundant mean to you? And is abundance limited to money?
No, it's over. I think for me, it's like overflowing, like non-stop,
Mm-hmm.
never ending. And it's not limited to money.
Mm-hmm.
Abundance. I think it could be different and for each person depending on their particular need at the time. Some for some it might be financial, for some it might be more of a spiritual, for others it might be emotional. So it's what you perceive to be abundant for you.
Yes.
But for me, it's like fullness, full, overflowing in whatever area, abundance in health, abundance in love, abundance in relationships, abundance in is things that you set yourself out to do. So it's like it's overflowing. It's not just scraping enough. It is you have it and you can use it whenever. You can enjoy it whenever. There's no having to look around for it. There's no sickness. There's no I can't pay my bill. There's nothing like that. It's just like an ocean, and whatever you need is there, and you just use it when you need it. So it's kind of hard to define, but it's just things that are overflowing. You're in that state of overflow.
I think as Catherine was saying, what came to me is when you think about abundance, it's just being. Because when you be and you allow things to just flow, that in itself is abundance, right? You're not putting any limitations on your mind to say, well, you're thinking in lack, right? And it could be in anything, health, wealth, relationships, whatever. So if you allow things to just be, then in a sense that is being abundant because you're going with the natural flow of things. You're allowing your soul to guide you, right? You're allowing things to just come into fruition, being in alignment and everything like that. So you'll always be, just flowing, just going. So you'll always be in abundance.
But do you practice that?
I think for me, because of Genius Goals and because I am a lot more aware of who I am,
Mm-hmm.
right? I know when I'm going off course to bring myself back on course. So it's work in progress. I know I'm better than where I was a year ago. So it's just me evolving into become into my true self. So I can't say I'm there 100%, but yeah, I'm more aware of it. And I catch myself when, I fall, and I know how to work myself out of, certain situations, pulling on whatever tool, whatever guidance, whatever wisdom, whatever knowledge that I've acquired over, the course of being with defitment. So yeah, I practice it as best as I could.
Okay. Because you would recognize that persons who might be finding difficulty with abundance is primarily also because you're stuck in a pattern. And that is why the question was asked initially, what did you get the opportunity to practice over the 2 week period when we were, of course, there was a holiday? Because when the opportunities arise, that is when you have the opportunity to really try something new. But then what are you doing with it? Are you just sticking to the pattern because it is familiar, because it's comfortable? Or are you trying something new intentionally? Anyone? When given the opportunity?
I think
I'm
it.
like
Oh,
Lisa
sorry. I think.
because you know your the instances of having to redo are
Mm-hmm.
getting less and less, less and less. Whereas before, for me, I would stick my heels in. And even this weekend, there was a particular incident where I could feel the irritation rising. And I had to practice the breathing, apply the breathing, apply the centering, apply the what is there for me and what is the next step, and question it, and answers came. Answers came. So I was able to arrive at my destination not flustered the way I would normally have been flustered if I go back with the old pattern. And so I think with repetition, my application, practicing, you get to the stage where I'm getting to the stage where the need to, like hit redo is getting less. But you always have to be present in the moment, mindful that this is, and the other thing is, what am I feeling as opposed to how am I feeling? So that I could quickly say, well, okay, what am I feeling? I'm feeling X, Y, Z. So challenge the where's the evidence? Why are you feeling this way? What is this? What is this? What is this? What is this? And then you can, in the what is this, you can find the answers will come because then it's more streamlined. So I think with practice, constant practice, but you have to be ever so mindful because it's so easy to just slip right back to the old way and just fly off the handle. But then, because you know something else and you have other tools that you could use, for me, I find when I go back into the old pattern, you come away worse because now you're feeling you're in your feelings now. You're feeling bad because you know that you had a different option that you could have taken and you didn't. So now you have to keep reminding yourself, and then you have to talk yourself out of that space that you're going into with the regret and the guilt and the whatnot. So with practice, more practice, more practice. Every time, as Adana says, when the opportunity comes, and they surely do come, I'm telling you. Just the practice. And the repeat button starts to get a little less in use for me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mr. SGL, good evening.
Good evening, everyone. It's good to be here. It's been a minute. It seems like forever.
Yes, 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 I know. And what did you get the opportunity to practice over the weeks?
Um, I think these last couple of weeks have been a bit challenging for me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think one thing I'm learning is to on as I'm going to the valleys, um, and just be more gracious to myself and admitting that sometimes it's tough. It's no one's fault. It's not nature's fault. No one is to blame. It just is.
Mm-mm.
And but also realizing that it's tough. So acknowledgement, I guess, is what I've practiced.
Okay. And within it, do you understand that while it is tough, it is your opportunity, of course, to expand because there is always something to learn. There is always something to grasp. There is
I think
always something to evolve from.
I think that's still a challenge for me, and this is what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
I think part of the learn is the knowledge, right? Of, and then the other phase to that is the doing because of that knowledge. And I think oftentimes there's a lot of realization, and that next step is, okay, how do I address this? How do I respond to this? And the challenge is, at least for me, where I am right now in my journey, is to be conscious enough and to be self assured enough to make this whatever decision or decisions
Mm-hmm.
that I feel might be the right response. And because I don't know if it's the ego that's still operating to some degree, there is almost this, I believe that's what it is. I think that's what it is. Do I make that decision? Do I do that response? And I'm still on the fence on that because I'm not there yet in terms of that journey. Um, and sometimes it's a good thing, right? Because sometimes we might think we're responding and yet we're reacting. So sometimes a delayed response is the best thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I still question it, obviously, because I'm not 100% sure, right? I believe, but I do not know as of yet. And so I'm still observing and learning more about myself and
Mm-hmm.
my circumstances.
Could I ask a Sheila a question?
Mm-hmm.
Like when you find yourself in that space of uncertainty and questioning, one of the things we talk about is just being still and asking
Hmm.
the question, like, what is this next step? Do you do that? Do you just take a time out, be still? You could close your eyes, wherever, go walk, whatever, and then just ask a question and get the response, or do you just respond, or you? Because that's kind of like, I think I used to be there, and that's what I said about being and doing. So a lot of times when you just responding, you're doing, and you're not allowing the natural flow of things and just let it be and get that answer. And when you get that answer, you tend to feel more at peace, and you go that route.
I think I was still not because I purposely wanted to be still. I think I did not respond, respond or give a response. Not so the knowledge, I think I got it, or at least I know some of the cause of where I was for those last 2 weeks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the next step I said is to address it, right? Response or react. And I stayed still at that moment involuntarily. You could say it was voluntary, but I think I did not because I wasn't convinced if one direction or the other was the best thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, I did not. So I remained silent, not because I was so confident silent was the best response. I stayed silent because of that not being sure because I wasn't so sure going one direction or the other was the best thing. So I practiced it unwillingly, if I can say it that way. Um, but I don't think the issue is so much the learning at this point. I think it's more in believing in myself, believing in everything will be fine, and going with what I want or believe to be. And that belief system wasn't strong enough for me to move in one direction or another. So I did not decide. Um, and sometimes maybe it's a cowardly way, maybe it's because again abiding by this sense of ego. But whatever it was, I did not move on ahead.
But in some instances, you would find that, okay, I need to be still a little while longer. Nothing is really wrong with that, you know. If you have to be still a little bit longer, then so be it. Because within that stillness, remember, a lot of other things will be revealed to you. So sometimes, of course, we always thinking it needs to be this particular way. It needs to show up like this. This packaging is different. And when it doesn't, then we think that, okay, this is unfamiliar. What is
Mm-hmm.
happening? And you start to question a lot of things. But then once you sit with it, just as you say, right now in this moment, I cannot make a decision. Let me just sit with this a little longer. And that is all that it is. And within
Right,
it, sometimes the things would flow within the stillness. Even when you get up in the morning, first thing in the morning, you can ask yourself, self, what is required for you today? And take it from there. It is not always a set, linear step one, step two, step three, step four, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, which is what we always expect. It will not always be like that. And sometimes it is the opportunity to discover something that you probably need to discover in that moment, you know?
yeah,
And the
yeah,
opportunity to spend some time with you, and that is okay. And that is where everything would start from, spending some time with you. Sometimes it's just okay, I need to be still a little while longer.
right,
Because remember, I know everything that is being discussed. When I ask the question, what did you get the opportunity to practice? Sometimes you didn't even think about it. You didn't even think about it. But when you really sit with yourself, you would realize. Because I even had an instance this weekend where I was asking for something, and sometimes you're asking for something and you're not realizing that life, the universe, everything providing the opportunity for you to get it. So the thought came to go through your clothes and get rid of the clothes that you're not using. And of course, the thought came, you're doing all kind of other things, you're cooking, you're cleaning, all kind of stuff. And then it came back through my nephew because he asked, Auntie, you have anything to burn? Because usually when I do that, we would burn clothes and stuff outside. And I was like, no. And then through another person during a video call, and I had on, of course, Catherine would might look at me a little sideways for this. Had on a t-shirt with a hole. And the person was telling me on the other end, and then I throw that away. And then I was like, wait, wait, wait. I get the same message. And sometimes you don't recognize that the same message coming. Get rid of the things that you are not using. Get rid of the clothes. And I tell you, immediately I got off of that phone call. And I was like, okay, bye, I have to go. And I went through all of my clothes again. I called a cousin to see if she would want some things. I have a burn pile and I have a giveaway pile. And within the abundance mindset, this is part of it as well. Because life trying to tell you, hey, pay attention to this, pay attention. You're asking for something in particular. But if you decide, no, 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 I barely have clothes already. Let me hold on to this, even though it have a gaping hole in front of it. Let me hold on to this and not release it. Then how are you making a way for the things that you're asking for to come? If you have all these things that you don't want, it's not serving you and you really don't need it anymore, pass it on to someone else or get rid of it. And all of this is part of the abundance mindset. When the opportunity comes, you have a set of bowls in your kitchen, you cannot find the cover for it. What are you keeping it for? Or you find the covers, you cannot find the bowls. What are you keeping it for? I am telling you because we have all been there. You have a lot of slippers, sandals, these things that you just have, you are not using it. Why not release it to somebody else? Let them use it because they would find use for it. What is the purpose of holding on to all these things that are just blocking you from receiving what it is you truly want? If you really want to make room for what you have been asking for, when the thought comes, you have to act immediately because you will miss your opportunity. Because the universe, everything's sit down waiting. Well, let me see if she's going to make room for what she's asking for. Let me see if she's going to make room. No, she didn't make any room. All the clothes still there. I got up immediately and I got rid of those clothes. Immediately. You have to make room. What is the evidence of you asking? What's the evidence that you putting out? What is the effort? What is the evidence? What is the effort that you really want this thing? What is the evidence? If you're not making any effort towards it, what's the evidence? You remember when you ask for something, everything listening. Now the everything that listening, waiting to see if. Let me see what she is going to do in this moment. When the thought came once, I ignored it, wasn't paying attention, focused on other things. It came again through my nephew. Auntie, you have anything to burn? No. Then it came through a video call that I was having with somebody, and there was a hole, and the person said, Anna. And again, when you're asking for what you're asking for, are you going to keep choosing to stay in the pattern that is not working for you? Remember this. Remember, are you staying in the familiar pattern that is not working for you? Or are you going to make a different choice in the moment? That is the question, and that is why it ties back to when given the opportunity to practice something new, what do you do? Yes, Catherine, I'm seeing that you have your hand raised.
I was going to say that the holding on to the things or not acting is the evidence that you really don't believe you're going to get, and you're not going to get it. Because, and for me, I have found myself falling into a pattern that says I don't have time. Even though I know, because I would use the practice that everybody has the same 24 hours, and only what you choose to do gets done. So if you, and you have been hearing clothes, I have been hearing clean your house, clean your house. And I will just do a little something because I'm busy, I have this to do, I have that to do. And I'm putting other things as priority, even though the message is do this. So, and then I was, okay, well, the day has ended. I'll do that tomorrow because I have all these other things to do. But when you're asking for something, and the worst part about it is, I know that it is related to something. And yet I am still, I have okay, this to do, that to do, this document to do that. But just by shifting around how I prioritize, everything could be done. Everything could be done because not only is probably A tied to Y, and Y is waiting to occur, but because I'm trying to work ABC, Why is that? And then eventually, like we always say, why will have to recircle, return, and why may it take 10 more years to return? And then he's saying, but I've been doing this, I've been doing that. No, because you have not been, like Lisa would say, in the moment. You
Mm-hmm.
didn't handle what had to be handled in the moment. So you see me tonight, oh, I am going to be up late
Yes.
handling some things because things are really waiting, as you say. Everything here is, and the universe is there to send it, to bring it into being. But if the pieces are missing, then the pieces are missing, and the messages come as thoughts. The messages come as you experience. The messages come all the way. And the other thing about the abundance is that people see you first. That the visual is the first thing we tend to go with. And so if you're looking down on your luck, and this is something I'm going to throw in here for the men in particular, the way you look is tied up to how people think you could perform. So when you're looking down on your luck, you may find that is affecting your career desires, your relationship desires. I mean, it works for everybody. But so the first thing is to, if it's one good shirt you have, let that be one good shirt. Do not bother to hold on to five raggedy shirts because the four affecting the one and the four is blocking the space of the other 25 that were supposed to be coming, but you just couldn't see it. So this abundance thing is very delicate.
It is very, very, very delicate. It is very delicate because whatever you believe, if you believe things tight, if you believe life hard, if you believe money tight, if you believe you have no money, if you believe you will do it when you get money, you would remain stuck. You certainly, certainly, certainly would remain stuck because remember, life reflects life and like attracts like. So, what are you attracting? Mm-hmm.
Attracting your doubts. That is what you're attracting. And the seed of the fear.
Mm-hmm.
Because the other thing we learn is that you do not need money for everything.
Mm-hmm.
If you keep your focus on what you want will come to you. And I learned this a few years ago and had to apply it because it was something that I was told to do. And I used my two eyes and I looked around and I said, I do not have the money. And I went on like that for about 2 weeks, agonizing about what money I didn't have. And one day I saw it a few times. It would show up like in videos, it would show up in readings, but the quotation, bloom where you are planted.
Mm-hmm.
And it just started showing out, or you'll hear people using those words. And one day I sat down and I said, bloom where you are planted, bloom where you are planted. And that opened up a whole space. The very thing that I said I needed. And it didn't have to come in the package that I said it must be in.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started to look around and just looking around the house, I had everything I needed to redesign the interior of my home. And things that were in storage, things that you didn't cast an eye at, they suddenly fell into place. So it's a question of recognizing that if you want something, you want something. And you do not want the money for the something. You want the something because if you study that you need the money for the something, then your focus will be on how do I get the money.
Oh,
And once your focus is on how you get the money, because you're not accustomed or you see yourself as not having the money, then you will be fighting up with the money part, and you're short of the money, and now every bill is a problem because the bill interrupting the money you're trying to save to do this thing or to get, as opposed to just saying, I need this is what I want. And somebody might gift it to you, you might go somewhere, you get an idea, okay, go by this place and buy a ticket today, and you will just get what you have. I remember being in a car accident, and when the claim was settled, and to fix the car, I told the guy, listen, all of this is not coming to you. I have other things to do. And then realizing that because of this, I was able to get this and that. So it was met, but not by me having to go and struggle to get the money.
Mm-hmm.
So thinking in abundance, it means that we already have it.
You all
We already have it.
let me just as you are explaining, and again through our conversation, sometimes this is when you get the opportunity to really reflect, and life would send the do you remember when you asked for this moment? And in a conversation with someone recently, the person was saying, but Adana, remember when you always used to say, I want to start to go on hikes. I want to start to go on hikes. I remember that conversation. And on Saturday, we went to 100 Steps Beach, and I know there was a yellow alert for Trinidad in terms of the rain as well. And of course, someone called me and they said, Adana, what you think? Because the last weekend there was a yellow alert as well. And I said, no. The yellow alert, when I read it, they said it's for Southwest Trinidad. We're going north, don't even worry about that. And when you really set your intention, just as Catherine said, it's not about the money. Set your intention. And we went up. We met at Grand Bazaar. Everybody met within a 10-minute, 15-minute time frame. First, we went to Fort Abercrombie, and then one person was supposed to meet us. So went to Fort Abercrombie. Then after we left and we went to 100 Steps Beach. And as soon as we pulled up and parked and I got out of the car, the other person arrived. And I tell you, everything was just precise, precise, precise. Then we went down to the beach. It was beautiful. And I think the universe was like, okay, well, your time to go because rain started to fall. And everybody started to get cold. So we were waiting on, of course, I know some of you all know Annalisa, who is our trainer, because she said she was coming to meet us. So when I checked my phone, she said, she come in, what we want. And I said, we don't want anything. We were in the water bathing. That's why I didn't answer. So she said, I said, well, come down. And then we would go up. She said, no, you all come up. And then, so everybody left. We went up. And when we went up, I told you she was parked there with a full bar behind a vehicle. So my sister cooked, so everybody was fed. And then Annalisa had drinks for everybody. And the day was just effortless. And it was just a reminder that who was expecting to get food? Nobody. Who was expecting to get drinks? Nobody. Everybody was just expecting I going on a hike. But the thing is, when you allow things to be and you don't restrict yourself and you think one particular thing or one particular way, you get the opportunity to really allow things to blossom and be as they are meant to be. Because if not, then you're just restricting yourself. Restricting yourself based on one particular pattern. But if you do not allow yourself the opportunity to practice, every time you look out at life, you will see the same thing and you would receive the same thing. Every single time you look out at life, you would see the same thing and you would receive the same thing. So, what do you want to receive? What do you want to enjoy? What do you want to experience? And when you focus on the money, it limits your abundance because it is never about the money. Because if you think, well, I didn't go to the 100 steps beach because I don't have any money, you got food and drinks for free. Or I didn't go because, or I didn't go because. Everything was already provided. All you have to do is set your intention. What do you want? What do you want to experience? But if you already make up your mind and you limit yourself and say, well, I cannot go because, I cannot do this because, I cannot whatever because, you will continually get that everywhere you turn, everywhere you look. And you would be telling people something is wrong with me. I just always get what I don't want. But then what have you been practicing when given the opportunity to try something new? And remember, and I know this might be a little difficult to accept, when you look around yourself, that is where you would know. And you look around your environment, you look at everything around you is a reflection of what you have been practicing your whole life. So if you have been practicing limit your whole life, that is what you would currently be experiencing through and through. And if you set your mind to one particular thing and it will only be that, that is what life will continuously send your way. You would meet it in every person, every situation, every scenario, every new job. You go to buy a car, you would keep meeting the same things over and over and over and over again. And that is why you really need to shift your mindset. Because once you don't shift your mindset, you would be there year after year after year after year and wondering, why do I have the same resolutions time and time again? So ask yourself the question, what have you been practicing? What have I been practicing? Just sit. You don't have to respond now, but you would know. Because once you're thinking scarcity, guys, once you are thinking scarcity, it will be reflected. Once you are practicing scarcity, thinking it is one thing, but getting the opportunity to practice something else and choosing to still practice scarcity, limitations, and restrictions, you will get that over and over and over again. And the practice comes with the simplest thoughts. The simplest thoughts. Are you really putting in the effort to receive what you have been asking for? When the opportunity comes to practice, what do you do with the opportunity? Why is it so easy to do the things that you would like to do for yourself for others? Because it is the same thing. It is the same effort you require to do it for somebody else. It is the same effort you require to do it for you. And it just starts with one small step. But if you keep starting with, I can't, I wanted to, I will start next week. It is just one simple step, one step in the direction. That is all that it is. Knowing what you want and taking one step in that direction. But if you don't know what you want, or you think you know what you want, or you have a lot of doubt about what you want, then you would realize that this is why I am seeing the same things over and over again. And especially for this week, when the opportunity comes. So, this would be your challenge for this week. Practice something new when the opportunity presents itself. And next week, we could always discuss, how have your practicing been going? How is your practicing going? Because you are getting the opportunities to practice and you're choosing to do the same things over and over and over again. You really have to practice something new. Yes, Catherine, I'm seeing that you have your hand raised. I know your hand was raised for a little while.
That's okay. The other thing that came to me was how when we consider whether something is good or something is bad, that it limits what we can receive, because deep down inside we might want it because you just want to enjoy it, but you you don't want to take the ice cream because somebody else told you that the ice cream, you wouldn't be able to lose weight, or it will be something, 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 but you want it. And when you focus in more on what other people will be thinking. So I remember there was a stage in my life when I was along a particular religious path. And I wouldn't wear this. You can't go here. You can't go there. Don't do this. Don't do that. And everything was about fear. Everything was about somebody else telling you that this will happen, that will happen if you do so and so. And there was little enjoyment because you might want to go here, you might want to go there, but that was on the banned list. That was on somebody else's banned list. And so I couldn't enjoy everything the way I could enjoy everything now. And because now I have a greater awareness of there is nothing like good and bad, it's just your choice because it's about you. Then, of course, when you make your choice, you live with the consequences of the choice that you're making, if there are consequences for there, or shall we just say there are other things attached to those choices. But the good and bad parts really prevented me from enjoying a lot of things that I would have liked to enjoy in the past. And and I guess that's why they say, I'm not guessing, in fact, I know that's why they say, do not bother to judge anybody. Do not bother to look in anybody else's pot, because what is in their pot is for them. And if you are basing your life off of what you're seeing in somebody else's pot, then you do not even have time to put something in your pot. Forget about the thing that your pot is burning. You have nothing in your pot because you looking in somebody else's pot and you have nothing in your pot, literally. So the good and bad is just what, if we are saying what do you want, focus on what you want, then it cannot marry with good and bad, because what you want is what you want. Sometimes pregnant women tell you, I just want some ice cream and sand. Well, kind of, that's what they want.
Mhm.
I wouldn't be in that situation, but that is what they want. So at that point, how you can tell them the sand is bad, because that is what they want. And when they eat the ice cream and sand, they're happy and they're satisfied. They have no more cravings. They go back and sleep. So by limiting myself based on somebody else's teachings and opinions, that prevented me from enjoying a lot of things that I would have liked to enjoy. And I wouldn't say the season for that is past, but the season for that is past. So
Yes.
you have to focus if you want to live in abundance, because you are already abundant. Everything is already inside of you. Is yours. So for the taking, like a supermarket, is yours. So in limiting, because you listen to somebody else telling you that is bad, that may be bad for that person. You have to make your own way and figure out what you want and stick to that.
Hmm. Because just as you were speaking, when you think about thoughts and you think about yourself with thoughts, how long are you able to hold a negative thought in comparison to a positive one?
A very long time. No, because with the negative thought, you keep building and building and building, but you're
Exactly.
always doubting the positive thought. I don't know if this is going to happen. I don't know. And,
Yep.
so.
Because even as SGL was explaining earlier, in terms of you're not sure if you're going to get through it. But even in that moment, when you look back at your life, you always come through. And it is always easier to hold a negative thought for much longer. And when you think about the amount of negative thoughts that you have held, if you had placed that focus on holding positive thoughts about yourself and the goals that you want to achieve, think about it. If you had replaced all those negative thoughts with focusing on or thoughts focused upon the goals and all the things that you would like to achieve, where would you be right now? So even when you think of, you might have a particular thought or you might have replace it. Replace it. This is the opportunity to practice the abundance mindset. Replace it. You drive into work, you get a bad drive from somebody. Do not go down the road and hold on to that thought for the entire day. Replace it. No, 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 no. I am replacing this thought with I want to go on a hike. Or something happens on work and you might get upset. No, 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 no. I am replacing this thought with I am focusing on getting my new car. Something else happens or something gets you upset. And you said, no, no, no. In this moment, my focus is because I am keeping my mind clear so that the solutions for me to achieve my goals can flow freely. I am not blocking them with any negative thought. And you're keeping your focus on, I want to go back to school. I don't know how, I don't know where I get any money, but my focus right now is I want to go back to school. So all my energy is focused towards achieving this thing. And if we really practice this, and this is what you can use for this week as the challenge for this week, I will also post it in the group throughout the week as a reminder for you all to really get to remember to practice it. Replace your negative thoughts because you know you have some held for years. You have it held for years and you're not releasing it. So replace that thought with thoughts of what you would like to achieve, what you aspire to do. I don't know if you all know, but let me let you all know we are now at week 37, eh? And 37 is not very far from 52. So if you need to make some changes and if you would really like to experience something new, really replace these particular thoughts. Remember, at the end of the day, holding on to the negative thoughts, how has it been positively affecting your life? How? What is it doing to help you along your journey? When you really think about it. If you have been holding a thought something else, because when you look at the persons that we deem abundant in this world, when you look at all the best football players, all the best basketball players, when you look at all the best talk show hosts like Oprah, when you look at them, what you realize is that they are just masters of themselves, you know. When you look at crew cuts from Trinidad, who is the barber that I always speak of, they are just masters of themselves, you know. And once you master you, all the abundance would flow from there. You don't see Oprah trying to play basketball. You don't see LeBron trying to be a fisherman. You don't see Ronaldinho trying to be David Beckham. They are masters in their own field. And that is really all you have to do, you know. Once you become the best version of you, you would recognize that every single thing would flow from there. But how do you think that Oprah was holding on to all the negative thoughts that people were saying about her, or even the thoughts that she probably held about herself and reached that far? Or even all the basketball players, the greatest like the Michael Jordans and Kobe and all of them. Do you think that they are holding on to all the negative thoughts that all the fans and everybody's saying about them to reach that far? And when you look at some of the greatest football players, I know in the US to say soccer players, and where they have come from, and they really had to know within themselves that no, I am going to achieve this despite what is happening. Because if you are holding limiting thoughts about yourself first, then who going to believe in you? So you really have to sit and think about what do you believe about yourself. Yes, Lisa, I know that you have your hand raised for a little while.
No, it was like two or three things when you're talking that came to me. Like when you like you're saying like you're driving. I know this is what I do and it helps. And you get a bad drive or you're at work and you meet up with a coworker who's not in the best of moods. That whatever you thinking, that's your perception,
Mm-hmm.
right? You don't know what, that person could be, it's an emergency and, life and death emergency. So they're doing whatever they have to do to get to wherever they need to be. The person at work, it could just be, a bad day for them. So I try to always think of this is my perception. I don't know what the truth is or what is their truth. So for me, when I think about it, like they're probably just having a bad day and just kind of accepting them for where they are and not taking it personal. I think for me that helps.
Yes.
The other thing what you're talking about is I always remember this example like you're saying, like, you have your closet, it's full of clothes. I know I am guilty of that 100%. And you don't want to get rid of stuff and you have an occasion that you need to go to and you're going through all this stuff and you're like, I have nothing to wear
Mm-hmm.
because your closet is probably filled up of clothes that don't fit you anymore. And you're like, I'm not getting rid of this. I'm going to lose weight to fit it, to get back down to it. Or, we always hold on to things, but if your drawer or your closet is filled with things, where do you find room to put the new things?
Yep.
If you have clothes that is too small for you, you're gonna always be like, I have something. But if you don't have it, then you know you would need to replace it and it will come. And it's like the same with money. It's like you extend your hand, you give it, right? And in the same extension, you receive. But if your hand is always closed, how are you going to receive anything? So for me, it's you have to give, you have to get rid of to be able to make room for the new things that's coming, the things that you want that's coming. You can't pour into a full cup. You might have murky water in the cup. How are you
Yes.
going to get fresh water if the cup is filled with murky water? So we have to get rid of the things that we feel like we are so attached to that
Mm-hmm.
we really don't need. And like you said, I know I have that problem. It's like, yeah, I'll keep it, I'll wear it, I'll do it. You know what I mean? And it's like, I have shoes, I'm a shoe person.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to get rid of, but you have to, in order to be able to get new, you have to make room for the new things that's coming in.
Yes. And that will be challenge number two, and we will post it in the WhatsApp group. Send your pictures of the things that you are getting rid of, you are donating, or you are purging and has to be burnt, has to be thrown away. It will be posted tomorrow. Don't worry. So, guys, this is a week of practice. So, it is not just limited to, well, I'm going to practice this particular thing. What are you willing to release that is no longer serving you? It doesn't always have to be a physical thing, but even when you just sit wherever you are and you look around your environment, you look around your room, what you're asking yourself, what is in here that no longer serves me and I could probably give it to somebody else who needs it more than me? Because really and truly, when you look sometimes at clothes, shoes, and things, you just have it there and it just slowly rotting away and somebody could be using it, It is slowly disintegrating day by day. And then you wait until, well, it expired now, let me throw it in the garbage. And you never really use it. When you could have opened the way, give it to somebody else. And then give the universe the opportunity to replace something even better for you. Yes, Catherine, I'm seeing that you have your hand raised.
As Lisa was speaking about the bad drive, um, the perception that is a bad drive is really up to you because for you it might be a bad drive, but your mind might have been lulling off. You may not have been paying attention on the road at that point. Something came in the space to help you because it's always about you. It's not about the other person, whether they're having a bad day, yes or no. That is not for you to consider. It happened to me on the highway. And fortunately, I was in this space where I wasn't willing to give up the space I was in because we were going through a meditating period that week and so forth. And so when the bad drive came, what I considered a bad drive, and I just simply said, I literally said it out. You see, you only did that because you are bigger than I am. And but wherever you are going, I hope you get there safely. And by the word safely, as it came out of my mouth, my front tire blew. I'd never heard a song like that, and I was in the middle lane in the highway. And then only to realize that by the time I got onto the shoulder, there was the same huge truck reversing up the shoulder, and he was telling me, I saw your tire going down suddenly, and that is why I cut across you to slow you down. So, because the speed you were going at, your car would have gotten out of control if you were still at that speed. And we were talking, and he helped me fix the tire and everything. So, it is always said that it's everything is about you. An opportunity, as we say, to practice, to learn. If I was not in that kind of meditative state, I might have said something differently. And because everything is about you, through you, if I cursed him, I would have been cursing myself. And then the outcome may have been very, very different because it wasn't even my car that has all the additional little paddings and all those different things. It was like a sardine can. So it's always about you, whether you had to practice how to respond in that instance, or to check yourself that maybe your mind was lulling away going somewhere, because the universe is always trying to help you and give you what it is you need at that time. So I just wanted to say that.
Yes, 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 yes. Anastasia, I'm seeing that you have your hand raised.
Yes. So I am thinking the giving up of things that no longer serve you is not limited to just material stuff.
No, it is.
Sometimes for your own self growth, you might have to give up mindsets, bad habits, bad thoughts, and in order for you to evolve.
Yes.
So it's not just material things. I think we might have to sit with ourselves too and go deep inside ourselves and find out what are the things that we have that inside of us that we need to give up as well in
Mm-hmm.
order for us to live a better life.
Yes. And again, that is about practice because let me give you another example. So we went on Saturday, and usually when you go, by the time you reach home, you're exhausted. So Sunday morning, I got up very early and I was shocked. I said, okay, I am up. I'm not feeling tired though. And the first thing that we usually tend to do is take up our phones, which I did. And in that moment, the thought came, you know, If you start to do all the things you have to do now by 1 o'clock, you have the rest of the day free. And I was like, yeah. And again, I got up immediately. I went downstairs, started to cook, wash clothes, tidy up. And just as the time said, by 1 o'clock, I was done. But again, Anastasia, when given the opportunity to practice something different, what are you doing with it? Are you going to remain stuck in a pattern of, well, I'm going to sit down and scroll on my phone by the time you blink, it's 1 o'clock? Or are you going to really, okay, let me practice something new because my goal is this. Let me break out of this pattern that is not serving me because my goal is this. Let me not get distracted because at the end of the day, sometimes the distractions, they will always be there, you know. The TV series is going to always be there. Whatever is happening on social media, you could see it tomorrow. It's not going anywhere. They're saving it all over. And everything is still always going to be there in terms of the distractions. So why are you distracting yourself when the distractions going to be there tomorrow still? You might as well focus on what you would like to achieve, and then 1 o'clock, okay, you can sit down and scroll on your phone now. Because you really set out and you accomplished what you really needed to accomplish. And let me tell you, once you set your intention, if you say, I am doing 5 things, once you start the first thing, as you are ending the first thing, the thought would come on how to approach the second thing. As you are ending the second thing, the thought would come on how to approach the third thing. And that is how it flows. Because you might be cooking, you finish the macaroni pie, the thought might come, okay, while the macaroni pie in the oven, put a load of clothes to wash. You put the load of clothes to wash, okay. Start to cook the callaloo. Callaloo finish, okay. Load of clothes finish. Put it in the dryer. And everything would come and flow as it is meant to flow. But where is your conscious awareness? Is your conscious awareness on what happened on work on Friday? If your conscious awareness is on what happened on work on Friday, you are blocking yourself from receiving what you set your intentions to be. And again, you would be distracted. Guys, it is really about putting the things into practice. What have you been practicing? That is really what it is about. Every single opportunity that you get, remember, everything is working together to bring to you what you have been asking for. But if you keep allowing the opportunities to pass you by, you would keep getting the same result. And then you would recognize that things are just getting tougher and tougher. Because the lessons are trying to come to expand your capacity, and you are choosing to remain the same time after time after time again. You cannot expect something different, make no effort, and achieve it. It really doesn't work hand in hand. Yes, Katrin, I'm seeing that you have your hand raised.
Yes. Two things. One is sometimes because we're so attached to things, people and places, that when we hear the word give up, or we have to give up something, we start to literally scratch your head, and you get a feeling about it because now you have to give it up. You have to let it go. But if you look at it, if we look at it as, I'm going to exchange this because I will get this in exchange for releasing this and this. So this is where I'm going. So I'm exchanging it for this. And so I'm offering this for this. Then your focus tends to shift onto where you're going. And the excitement of receiving where you're going, as opposed to I have to let this go. I have to let this go. I have to let this go, and which leaves space, a lot of space for doubt and uncertainty. If I give up this, what? If I let go this,
Let me
what?
just interject and ask a question because this is a question that I ask people a lot of times. Did you ever give up something and receive something worse?
No.
Exactly.
So
You
that is very
understand? That's
important.
the
Yeah.
thing. Because you never really receive something worse. You always receive something better, but you would never know if you keep holding on to the things.
Mm-hmm.
And the universe
Mm-hmm.
always trying to provide an even greater experience, a more enjoyable experience, just like what happened on the beach, just effortlessly for us.
Was not just looking. Yeah.
Exactly. So why hold on to the limiting beliefs, the limiting thoughts? It really not serving you, you know. And there is a whole different life to experience, full of enjoyment. But if you're not there, then how would you experience it?
The other thing I wanted to add as well is the question of abundance. Abundance is.
Mm-hmm.
So when we think of abundance, only in terms of what we can get, abundance is. So when we hold on to the thoughts of I don't have, there is abundance in there as well.
Yep.
You will continue to have an abundance of not having.
Yep.
You will continue to have an abundance of problems because that is where your focus is. So everything is abundant for you. It's just where is your focus? Where do we put our focus?
Mm-hmm. And again, that is the opportunity to replace certain thoughts with thoughts of what you would like to achieve, what you would like to see, and that is where you hold your focus. Yes, Anastasia?
I wanted to talk about the letting go. Sometimes you're letting go something
Mm-hmm.
and there is nothing to replace it. You're just empty. You let that go and you're
Wait,
just
wait, wait.
empty.
Yes, where you let it go, and then you create what you want to see in that space.
Sometimes what you want to see in the space, I think probably you're not ready for it as yet. So you have to spend some time
And once you have
without
self
something.
doubt, yes. And you see, within that moment, once you have self doubt, you fill your space with that and you get more of that. You
Mm.
understand? So, in the
Mm.
moment, Anastasia, if you said, okay, I want to exercise from 5 to 6, and when the time come, rain falling, this falling, that falling, remember, in that space, something have to fill the space there. And usually, something fill the space is something that you do not want to experience or you do not want to achieve. But once you set your intention and you even put the effort, you say rain falling, okay, I walk in circles in my gallery. That's fine if rain falling and I can't go outside. And you see, once you put in the effort, every single thing, as tell you, as a aunt told me once, she has passed on now, the world would step aside for anyone who knows where they're going.
Right. So that's like you're making the circles that come like for the preparation for what have to
Yep,
come, for what you want
exactly.
to see.
Because yes, I
Yeah.
want to start to exercise, even if rain falling, and I instead that I'm going to walk up and down the street and the rain falling, still doing it from 5 to 6 in my
Mm-hmm.
gallery. It could be in your bedroom, but
Mm.
what is the effort that you are putting out? If you fill the space with scrolling, you will get more of scrolling. And every single day, week, hour, month that you continue to scroll, by next month, you have back pain. The money that you would have spent after your exercise, you decide you're going to dance class, the money that you would have spent to enjoy in dance class because you're exercising and you could keep up with everybody, you have to spend it by the doctor because you have back pain. What are you filling your time with? What are you creating for yourself? If you are creating limitations, no, I'm going to stay on my bed and scroll because rain falling, you will get more of it.
Because sometimes the difficulty in letting go is that you don't have anything to replace it. Okay, so you have the clothes, you want you're wearing the clothes, but you know it's time to throw it away, and
Mm-hmm.
you're holding on to it because you don't know when or where you're going to get these new clothes because you're not seeing the money to get it. So you're
Yes.
holding on to it. But
Yes.
at the end of the day, now you have to get rid of it and probably do with whatever little bit you have remaining for the rest to come.
Exactly. And let me give you an example. Just as the clothes, and this is, of course, not limited to clothes, I gave away a lot of clothes to now my cousin daughter. The last time that I got rid of clothes, Anastasia, I did not have to buy a inkling of clothes. My sister got rid of a set of clothes that she ordered and she don't wear and cannot fit her. And my cousin got rid of a set of clothes. She said she changing her style. And I was the recipient of all of those clothes from Zara and all these other wonderful places. You don't, it is not about the money. Make room for what you would like to experience. You don't have to know where, what, why, how it coming. All you have to know is I want this. Or when the thought comes, I getting rid of the thought comes just as me get rid of the clothes. I don't know what coming. I don't know where it coming from. But I am moving with the timing to make sure I don't miss my opportunity because I'm not missing the opportunity. When you get the opportunity, and it is in these little simple things, when you get the opportunity to practice, practice. Even if Anastasia, you don't know where the clothes coming from, that doesn't matter. In that moment, in that space, you're holding your intention for what you want. I want to see this. I want to see this. I want to see this. You start to look online on what you would like to receive. You don't know how it coming, you don't know how it coming, and how it coming is not important. What is important is you holding your intention. That is all that it is. And that is really where the abundance mindset is. Because once
And
you believe,
sometimes,
uh-huh, go ahead.
no, I'm good. Sometimes that happens in relationship as well. Sometimes you hold on to a relationship that is no longer serving you because you tell yourself if you let go that you're lonely, you won't have nobody, whatever it
Mhm.
is, and you
Listen,
just stay stuck in something that is no longer serving you and not good for you.
exactly. I tell you, you let go of that relationship. You might go, you meet a
Mhm.
friend, this friend going on hikes, this friend going to a dance class, this friend into pottery, this friend into whatever it is. But if you keep the thing that is blocking you in the space, you will never experience it. I know it sometimes it does feel scary when it is something that you're not accustomed to practicing, but I am telling you, everything is always replaced. When you look at where you come from in kindergarten to now, isn't your groceries replaced every year, every month? Sorry. Your clothes replaced. Sometimes you want a car, your car replaced. But what is your intention? If you believe you are not going to get it, that is what it will be. And remember, guys, this conversation will be continued throughout this week because this week is a week that I know a lot of people have been looking forward to because it deals with abundance and it deals with wealth. And again, if it is something that you are interested in, it is as simple as just as we log on here on a Monday. And of course, it is for persons who are premium members. Guys, sometimes you spend more money on food because it is just $96 a month, or you have a day pass for 40 TT or 7 USD, and per month it is 12 USD. So, guys, take the time to invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. You could do this. I know you're thinking that it is difficult, but you could do this. If you practice it every day, you could do this. All the persons, when you look at the Oprah and the Ronaldinho and the David Beckham and the LeBron James and the Michael Jordan, they just became masters of their own field. That is all. They did not try to become anybody else but themselves. And you can do the same things. Yes, you would have doubt. Yes, you would have fear, but that is why befitment is here to really help you overcome these things. Yes, it is part of life, but even though it is part of life, you do not have to let it be a debilitating part of your life. We are all experiencing these similar things, you know. It will not be the end of anything. You just have to know that there is a different way to live. And once you know that there is a different way to live, now knowing that there is a different way to live and practicing it are two entirely different things there. Once you put it into practice, you would get the results that you would like. If you do not practice it, you cannot want to ride a bike and get up every day and have the thought, I would like to learn how to ride a bike and not practice. You cannot learn how to drive a car and get up every day and say, well, I want to learn how to drive a car and not practice. You will get the same results. Yes, Catherine, I'm seeing that you have your hand raised.
Yes. Anastasia, you know I love you. And Gil, when we think about letting go certain things, we think there is nothing, but there's never nothing. In that space is time for preparation because it's like holding on to the distraction that is keeping you from what you really want. So even in relationships, it's preparation time because you're looking for you. You're looking for the qualities that you value in the other person in the relationship, the kindness, the gentleness, the fun loving, the this and that. But you might be looking at it from a mental point of view, but that really not there in you as yet. So to attract it, it's not there. It's just there like on a mental. So there's never a time when there is nothing. And that's why it came to me, you know, you're offering up something, you're exchanging something for what you want, as opposed to thinking of giving up, which is like how people think about when my relative died and it's the end and I suffer so much loss and you still focus on the loss as opposed to there's a change coming. There's a something else that I could get because that same relative that passes on might leave you the money for the car. 250 something $1,000 at that point. Which one is studying? The relative that passed or the brand new car? And so holding on to the distraction. And the distraction may have been good for a time, but as soon as it becomes something that prevents you from getting to where you want to go, then if we think of it as exchanging, I will exchange or I'll offer this in exchange for this. And so relationships, you and me, you know, we in that space. So it's time to better, and when I say better, it's time to grow. It's a space for 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 seeing what you really want because you had a good opportunity to look at what is not working and what you don't want. So when you let it go and you exchange it, you're excited for what is coming because in that space, and I already mentioned that when you give up something, you have to make do with the little that is left. No, it's not the little that is left. Adana always used to say, I have enough. I have more than enough.
Yeah, you have more.
So even if you have $500 left until you see money again, you have to know you have enough. It's not the little bit that is left. You have enough. You have all you need because it's not those five blue notes that really will make the difference. It's all the people who might just come and give you a meal. They come and visit you or they send you tickets to go somewhere. So you always have enough. It's not the little bit that you have left. As soon as you go with, you have a little bit left, you're going back into the scarcity mentality.
Yes, 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 yes. And guys, let me share as well for this week what we will be discussing because again, this week is a continuation of every single thing. So for this week, Remember, tonight we're speaking about shifting to an abundance mindset to prepare you for what is coming throughout the week. And tomorrow we would be discussing energy and abundance. So, connecting vitality and well being to abundance. Again, remember, vitality and well being starts with you because life reflects life. If your being is not well, that will also be reflected. So, keep that in mind. And then from 7, we have the Be Fit, Fuel, and Flex full body workouts. On Wednesday, we have counseling and consultations. And from 6, we would be discussing relationships and authentic connection. Understanding love as an infinite resource. So, if you are interested, reach out to us and let us know. On Thursday, we have counseling and consultations from 10. From 6, we would be discussing reframing wealth. So, you might have some beliefs, but they might be self limiting beliefs. And we would be discussing money and purpose of channels of abundance. And from 7 again, we have the Be Fit, Fuel, and Flex full body workout. On Friday, we have counseling and consultations, and from 5, we have Free to Be. On Saturday, we have our B Squad Super Saturdays, which is a teen workshop and fun day. So, if it is something that you would like to experience, especially this week, for those who are not premium members, feel free to reach out to us. I know this is a week that the premium members have been looking forward to, as it relates to reframing wealth as well. And I know the things that were discussed is really a lot to absorb, but you can do this. It is not beyond you at all, at all, at all. And let me just share something else with you. Please also note that I would send the Genius Goals question online, so do not worry. And in the app, let me just read something from the app for you as it relates to tonight's discussion, which is this topic here, discipline and motivation. And it says, you are the lighter. And the post says, motivation is like a fire. You have to gather the wood, build the structure, and light the first spark for yourself. Stop waiting for lightning to bring the flame. Motivation is never the key, it is the result. And when we scroll down to the right up, I will just read this paragraph to the bottom. Stop waiting for lightning. Stop lamenting your lack of motivation as if it's a missing ingredient you have no power to procure. The blueprint is clear and the materials are all around you. Gather the wood, build the structure, light the spark. Stop waiting for a fire to start itself. Pick up the flint and strike. So, guys, you have everything. You have everything. You have everything. This week is the opportunity to really put the things into practice. I would also send the challenge reminder for this week in the WhatsApp group so you have the opportunity to really put the things that you require into practice. And also for those who are still unsure about membership, you have the 7-day pass. Once you go into the app and you search 7-day pass, you can access everything, all the classes for free for 7 days. So, guys, have a wonderful, wonderful night. Have a wonderful week. Remember to practice when the opportunity presents itself. Remember to practice when the opportunity presents itself. And see you all, same place, same time next week, Monday. See some of you tomorrow as well, the premium members. So have a wonderful, wonderful night. Good night, everyone.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Bye.